This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
What's up? It's your boy, The Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
Hello, where we go? Welcome to season 17, episode number 3667. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and Mike Hawk. Montgomery! On the Men's Room. Let's have today the return of Who Sucks Less. We will play Profile This. Plus headlines, a Men's Room shout of the day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Tim.
Clack,
All right, here we go. Man is busted tagging a water tower because he wrote he and his girlfriend's name wrong. Or, well, he spelled together wrong anyway. Meanwhile, a Louisiana woman shoots at a man who refused to engage her axe wound in song. Massachusetts Beachtown votes to let sunbathers let it all hang out. 7-year-old receiving communion shows off chugging skills beyond a doubt. And a COVID testing site in Australia has to close down because snakes. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
All the bitches, good day to you and yours. All right, let's face it, summer's coming up. And when you go to the beach, there are certain risks that you accept, right? You got sunburn, riptides, jellyfish, sharks, and, of course, coyote attacks. Now, most of us never consider an attack from a beach coyote, but times they are a-changing. A toddler in Southern California, Huntington Beach. This is not some rural, out-of-the-way beach. Huntington Beach, she was attacked on the beach by a coyote. And the attack itself lasted for 14 seconds, and it only lasted that long because the little girl's parents didn't notice the attack, in spite of standing literally only a few feet away. But it turns out, can't blame the coyote. Toddlers, very tasty. A 2-year-old in Texas, she was sitting on her front porch when a coyote attacked her. Now, meanwhile, in Rome, Italy, residents, they are facing an 8:30 p.m. curfew because, that's right, you guessed it, people are being routinely attacked by wild boars. This has been a problem, apparently, in Rome, a densely packed city for years. But it's not just animals attacking people out there. There's also a lot of idiots on the prowl. There's a woman in Georgia. She physically assaulted a teenage McDonald's employee because her food order was wrong. And then there's also the woman in South Carolina. Now, she pointed a gun at a Burger King cashier and threatened to, quote, blow her head off over a mix-up with her drink order. And comedian Dave Chappelle, he was attacked on stage last night during a stand-up routine. Now, no one is sure what the motive was, but let's face it, these days, why do you need a motive to lose your goddamn mind? It's just what we do now. But here's the point. It can be animals. It can be a swarm of insects. It can be a group of people. It can be an individual. Today, we just want to know who or what attacked who or what.
Be part of the big show called 206-421-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live. And send those emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
You're listening to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
KISW.
Hold the Charles, away we go. Welcome to season 17, episode number 3667. What a large and in charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat, that is a fact. Tonight, return of Who Sucks Last. Steve, I don't know how you do it. You find people doing bad things in the news, which is...
Oh, yeah.
I know it takes you hours to find these people.
It really does. It really does.
Most of the news out there is very sunshiny and nice, fun to read and everything else. But no, you find three stories. We have to determine out of the three which one sucks the least. How are we looking this week?
These are not the worst people in the world, but all of them silly. Yeah. Right? I think that. And we got a couple pervs out there, somebody kind of money laundering, drug dealers. Okay. It's just how they choose to approach their quote-unquote craft that we'll judge.
Who Sucks Last is coming up, and as we do Monday through Friday at 6, we head on over to the Men's Room Happy Hour, exclusively on the Odyssey app. If you don't have the Odyssey app, download it now. It's absolutely free. And then Monday and Friday at 6 o'clock, we go live to the app for the Men's Room Happy Hour. Today, the return of the effing news.
All right.
So the effing news is back today on the Men's Room Happy Hours. We're actually allowed to cuss. We don't have to worry about the same rules that we do here at KISW. With that in mind, keep in mind it is an adult-only segment that we do, the Men's Room Happy Hour. And just search for the Men's Room Happy Hour channel, and you will find it. It goes live at 6 o'clock. And today, we're going to talk about who or what attacked who or what. I guess we should just start with the Dave Chappelle stuff. As it happened last night, he was on stage, part of a Netflix comedy special. I want to say this thing must be a big deal because...
Hey, Chris Rock, Jamie Foxx, Dave Chappelle.
Pete Davidson was on it. I believe
it's like a 3-day thing.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. There's a ton of people doing this. But either way, there was a response on stage, a huge response, and by the LAPD, following an attack on Dave Chappelle during his performance at the Hollywood Bowl. That happened Tuesday night. Police say an arrest has been made. They identified the man as Isaiah Lee, 23. He actually went up there with looked like a toy gun, but a real knife, which was inside. Like
it's a fake
kind of like
gun that has a blade.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. He was booked. Well, it could have caused some serious harm. It wasn't like he was just going up there and tackling him and punching him in the face. He had a pretty legitimate weapon. So they booked him on charges of assault with a deadly weapon. He's being held on $30,000 bail. The attacker is alleged to have had on his person a replica gun with a built-in knife. Though the 48-year-old comedian was not injured, officials aren't speaking on a motive, and they're not sure how the suspect got the weapon through security. Meanwhile, an old controversy has once more reared its head, thanks to a remark Chappelle made to the audience. A BuzzFeed journalist who was at the show noted that Chappelle made a trans joke. His exact breathless words, it was a trans man right after the attack. Backlash against Chappelle, who's long been mired in that commotion, and remarks he made on another Netflix special. Leave the trans community alone, people were saying, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Either way, he was attacked on stage.
Yeah.
Thanks, Will Smith. I don't know if this is just... I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot more of this for people who are looking to get attention and,
Sure, no doubt about it, man.
I don't think it's going to stop.
Not only that, I still think the biggest issue is just small-time comedians or whatever that are just in a club. Like we were saying after that Will Smith thing, like there's not security around a club, but generally there's not going to be dudes on stage with you.
There's not going to the LAPD like Dave Chappelle, right? So, yeah, you're at a local club doing your stand-up. Who knows why anyone gets mad at you? Apparently, a lot of people did not know that when you go to a comedy club, people tell jokes. And whatever they say, it's probably just a joke. But people saw these adverse reactions. It used to be either you heckled them or you got up and left, right?
And not only that, but comedy clubs typically, that's not the area where you have a bouncer. You have somebody that takes your ticket.
Right.
But they're not there to kick people's ass and screw them out of the place. They're pretty well.
Who knows? It might change, man.
Yeah. Well, and people have been, for my taste, people have been piping up at comedy shows way too much anyhow. It's a comedy show.
Right.
I'm offended, this and that.
Well, just shut up. Comedy show.
Right. Exactly. Or you can leave. Don't argue with the comedian.
I know.
It just seems like I've seen more of, I've seen protesters get on the court at NBA games trying to glue themselves to the floor or whatever. Just let the damn thing happen. Just let the show go on.
Right.
I get whatever point you're making, it's getting a negative, connotation based on your actions. I understand that your intent is at some point.
Everyone has an opinion and everyone is irritated about something, but you're not here to disrupt everyone else's life. Look, PETA, all right, people for the ethical treatment of animals. In theory, there's nothing wrong with their position on things, but what they choose to do, express it. I don't take them serious. So I'm like, man, you took a generally good-spirited, good-natured thing, right? Mm-hmm. Nothing wrong with ethically treating anything, but when everything you do and every stunt you pull is made up of jackassery, for lack of a better term, you go like, I'm done with you. Not animal rights active, but PETA itself. I don't, if they wanted to offer me money, like, no, I don't want anything to do with you, man, because everything you choose to do is disruptive and stupid. And none of these things have worked to help your cause. So what I would say, as I would say to anyone doing anything, if the thing you keep doing doesn't work, try a different tack.
Sure.
And when you want people to hear you, and it's funny, Beanie and I were talking about something entirely different today, but we said, right, when you open a conversation with an accusation, there's no way the conversation ever rebounds.
No.
Right? 'Cause everyone gets defensive, then you become... So it's like, look, just make your point, but just be crystal clear and be somewhat educated about it.
And to this day, I don't know if it's a COVID thing. I'm not sure exactly what's happening. You see all these reports of people who have to be duct taped to their seat when they're flying. You've got Mike Tyson sitting in front of you. You're going to talk crap to Mike Tyson to the point where he loses his cool. Keep in mind, Mike Tyson was at an open mic comedy night where probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago, where a guy got up in front with a gun. All right? And I don't know what he was doing or what he was threatening or whatever, but he was definitely jabbing at Mike Tyson. Mm-hmm. Mike Tyson just sat there. Then Mike Tyson got up. He talked to the guy. He disarmed the guy. He gave the guy a hug. Tried to settle him down a little bit. A lot of people left, you know what I mean, when they saw the guy up there with a gun.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
He diffused the situation.
Right.
He does not want to get into a fight with somebody. So this jackass on a plane pissed Mike Tyson off to the point where Mike Tyson turned around and pummeled him in his seat. And then the guy... He didn't want to press charges when he got to Miami Airport because he knew he was a jackass. And
well, why would you? You got what you're looking for.
And he was in the wrong.
Yeah. You got what you're looking for,
and
man.
his buddy was filming him. Like, that one's a little different, as I feel like that guy exactly was looking. That's why he didn't press charges, I think.
He got the attention he's looking for.
Right.
He also got his ass kicked, but if you're fine with that, then perfect.
But you're right. The last few years, like, people on planes and stuff, and then just say, like, just...
And fast food. What is going on with fast food, man? Now, in my experience, McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, you name it, all right? You know what you're getting. They don't charge a lot. The experience is the experience. Mm-hmm. I've gotten the wrong order a million times. It's not that they do it all the time, but it's understood. I didn't want pickles. They put pickles on the burger. So what I did was pull them off, see? Other times I have gotten a burger, and maybe I ordered the chicken sandwich. It's not the end of the world. And you're mad for about 3 seconds, then I eat my food and shut up. But I've never thought, I'm going to go back to this restaurant, jump over the counter, beat the living piss out of a minimum wage making teenager because, I don't know, the milkshake machine doesn't work. Or my drink orders. People are getting shot through drive-through goddamn windows, hot grease being poured on customers by the Arby's guy. Like, it's fast food, man.
Right. I was at an event. This probably goes back to 2005. I was working in Hagerstown. There was a fight at a bar that I was at. It didn't have anything to do with me. But the radio station was there for the night, hosting whatever band was playing. I tried, because the fight was close to me, close to where I was making an announcement on it. It kind of spilled that way.
Yeah.
So I tried to get the one guy to just calm down a little bit and hold him up. And then I got punched in the back of my head by the guy that was trying to fight him. And then I turned around, and then he hit me again. You know, and I remember leaving there that night thinking to myself, well... I wasn't the one who was squaring up with someone. I did get hit trying to just kind of separate these two guys. At the same point in time, I knew I wasn't at fault for anything. But I thought to myself, you know, I probably never will be in a fight ever again. I'm 25 years old. I have a full-time job now. I'm not going to clubs and staying out till 2 o'clock in the morning. This is more than likely the last time that I ever get punched or anything. And now, the more I think about it in life, like, I'm not so sure. Right. Even at 52 years old, I might get shot driving down I-5 for no reason. You just don't know.
We don't know what sets people off.
You don't. And road rage is a big one out there for people. You read stuff about 70-year-old man punching another 73-year-old man in the face because, God, there was one yesterday in Seattle. Guy mowed into the guy's property. So the guy comes out with a gun, threatens to shoot him.
You mean like with the lawnmower?
Right. He just went a little bit over his edge. He said it was disrespectful. Like, you've got to be kidding me. He's trying to send you a subtle message. Cut your grass.
Right.
Or have somebody cut your grass. Or he's just trying to get the weeds from your yard off of his property line. That's not a big deal, you know, but people just absolutely lose their stuff.
And people, the biggest issue is that, like, a lot of this stuff is like, my buddy George explained it to me. He knows all this stuff. He works in security. He was in the military. But there's, like, different forms of aggression.
All right.
Like different levels or whatever. And most of the stuff we're talking about, like at the airport and everything, is just like the lowest level. It's like back in the day if you were with somebody and somebody stepped on their shoe and then they had to get in a fight about it. Right? It's like, great, there's no reason to be that upset about it. Mm-hmm. You know, but that's what a lot of these instances are. It's like, just take a breath.
All right. Think about the situation. Your cheeseburger is not the Big Mac you ordered. It's not worth anyone's life. I'm sorry, man. It's just not.
No. Bill O'Reilly's in a video screaming at an airport employee because the flight was late.
That was Ted Cruz.
Oh, no, this was Bill O'Reilly.
Really? Last week.
He was berating this person.
Yeah.
It had absolutely nothing to do with the situation. I mean, this is completely...
Calling him dumb and...
I'm dumb because you think that I control
that
the timeliness of air. Okay, that's not even worth arguing about. Let's go. All right, man. Mm-hmm. Look, you are surrounded by people that love you. Because I'm dumb because you haven't pieced together what my job is. All right.
Yeah, you think people would get it. Animals, on the other hand, I think they're just being animals. Shocking surf cam footage captured the terrifying moment when a toddler was attacked by a coyote at Huntington Beach, California. I'm sorry, this is just not what I'm thinking is going to happen when I go to Huntington. I'm thinking, okay, I'm not going to look great because everyone there is beautiful and they're all chiseled. And they'll have beach bodies. They surf all the time. I don't know if you've been to Huntington Beach, but you'll leave there very depressed. You will really like what you're looking at, but you will be depressed when you leave there. I would never think for 1 minute that a coyote would come on the beach and bite my 2-year-old child.
Attack them. And the worst part is, when you look at the video, and Mike, I think it was you who said, I think it's just the sound of the crashing waves, because they're literally standing right
on the beach.
But their kid is maybe 6 feet away, and the video is shot from behind them. So obviously, and they're maybe 100 yards away, but you see the coyote jump and throwing this kid around, and the parents, they don't even move.
Prairie wolf pounced on the little girl's face, immediately knocked her to the ground as she played near the ocean. The dog then rolled her to and fro, at one point leaping off the top before lunging back on her in a mounting position. As 2 adults and a kid standing next to her watched the waves crash. As you watch the footage, they still have not turned their head around.
No.
And then about 14 seconds after the attack, a woman finally turns her head and notices the ambush and finally scared the coyote away. Child was rushed to the hospital where she was expected to recover from serious injuries. Cops later shot 2 coyotes dead in the area. But the canine that charged the young girl was not among them. But I think, did they update that story and say the DNS test? Yes, it did confirm that the coyote that attacked a 2-year-old on the beach last week has been killed.
Okay.
So they took a DNA sample, and at least if you're going to kill 2 dogs living wild at the beach, to me it's just...
But why do we go after coyotes that attacked a child on the beach, but we don't go after the human being who has rational thinking that jumped over the counter to try to shoot a Burger King employee? Like the coyotes being a coyote. And I understand what it is they're doing, but I'm like, that's what coyotes do. People, I mean, like, you know goddamn well you're not supposed to jump over a counter because your milkshake wasn't the right goddamn order.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to give you 60 days. Like, no, shoot their ass. Mm-hmm. Shoot them. Be done with it.
Coyotes don't have lawyers.
That's a good point. Well, do you know that?
I do.
Do you know that for a fact?
The Acme law firm?
Yeah, I was going to say, Wile E. Coyote, I bet he can hook you up.
He might have had one. Just for the record.
Many times he was killed, he should have.
This is also why coyotes are just a crappy animal.
Yes.
That's all they do is look for, like I know predators do it as well.
Yes, they do, Ted.
But coyotes to me are just the worst.
Why? Because lions do. Again, right? Lion, king of the jungle, homie, but he's still going after the young, the slow/sick. Or
every animal
much like me when I mug people.
Okay, but the lion at least has to, or the lioness at least has to hunt it down. Whereas the coyote will just sit out there, like with Mike's dog, right? What does your dog weigh? 20 pounds?
Yeah, that's about it.
And they'll sit out there in the woods and just chirp and chirp like they're an injured dog to lure it over, and then the group will attack them.
Mm-hmm. What about when you go duck hunting?
They put decoys out.
And he's blowing his decoy, right? Now, you could go looking for ducks, but he's like, look, man, I'm going to to me, the coyote's thinking like, look, player, it's like basically what coyotes do, they're ordering Uber Eats. Like their perspective is, we can go to the restaurant, right? Or if we kind of make this call, like I swear to God, food always shows up.
Calling in takeout.
Yeah, we don't know necessarily what will be delivered, right? But if I make this call, so to speak, like the Uber Eats, the other animal, the baby, whatever, like it shows up, you know? So why go out and waste all that energy when it comes to you? Look, I don't think it's great to attack toddlers, but I get where the coyote's coming from.
You could be on a boat and you're fishing, And there's fish in the ocean. There's fish in any body of water for the most part if you're out there on a boat and you got a fishing pole in your hand. But if you dump a bunch of bait and chum in the water,
right,
you're going to catch fish. Yeah. If you feed them,
a coyote living, Ted.
Lure them into the area, throw your line out.
Yeah.
I mean, is it cheating?
No.
If you're chumming, I don't.
I think it's cheating if you put something in the water to stun the fish,
Right.
and now they're just floating there.
What if you throw a lure that looks like their favorite food into the water and then they bite it? It's kind of,
I mean, I get it. You're right. Lions hunt, they're cool. And even then the lioness, the lion's just like, bring me back. That's the other thing.
Yeah,
even
male
the
lion-
lion is like, it's not that he gets takeout, but he sends his wife to go pick it up for him. Like, look,
Every time.
this is what I want to eat, but I'm not getting off my ass to get it.
who or what attacked who or what? 206-421-ROCK.
KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Our question, who or what attacked who or what? 206-421-ROCK.
We're talking about coyotes earlier. Someone says, Ted is an animal racist. For shame, Mr. Smith. And someone else on your side, Ted, says, coyotes killed my duck, Jeffrey, when I was 5. Now I shoot everyone I can find. My wife has to be very careful yelling the word coyote because I will jump up and run outside of my underwear with a gun.
That's what I'm saying, man. Little bastards.
Well, in this case, it ain't Jeffrey the duck. I'd be upset too.
Trust me, if a coyote comes to your neighborhood, tears are involved.
What do you mean?
They'll eat your duck. He'll eat your
Eat your
small
chickens.
dog. Try to eat your cat.
Told you I had 2 of them.
Maybe a toddler.
In my driveway. I had no idea what they were. It's one of those Seattle nights where it's actually foggy. It's a little bit raining. I'm taking my dog out for a walk. It's like 1 a.m. We turn to walk up the driveway, and it's that unnerving moment because I can't really see their silhouettes at first, but I see the 2 pairs of eyes, right?
Yeah.
So it's just 4 green eyes looking at me, but it's between me and my house, and I'm like, God damn it, man. But like they're blinking, but they're not moving. My dog does not seem overly concerned, so I'm like, if you're cool, I'll be cool. That said, I was not cool, but I pretended I was cool. And then as we got close, I realized 2 little ass coyotes. They ran away as soon as we got within like 10 feet. But I'm like, okay. So I walked inside, said to my wife, I was like, we had goddamn coyotes out in the yard. She's like, I see them all the time. I'm like, okay, I did not know that.
Yeah, and your kids are big enough. Like, it's not a
Maybe.
big deal.
Maybe.
And they run away from normal-sized humans.
Yeah, I think my kids are still at the age they might have to fight to get them away.
No,
But
they could take a coyote.
You think?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
They are little bitch animals. Sorry, I'm getting fired up.
I did not realize how much you hated coyotes.
Yeah, so I'm saying, if your kids are even out there playing ball, like, they won't even get near them. They'll be like, oh, they're not just, tiny.
Little bitch animals.
They are. You know what I mean? Like, look, I watched a whole show about in Michigan, and a wolf attacked a guy.
All right.
That was camping, right?
Yeah.
And everybody's like, there's no way. There hasn't been a wolf attack here in like hundreds of years.
So it couldn't have happened.
Right. So then they found out that, like, the wolf, it was rabid. It lost its mind. That's why it attacked this dude. Whereas the coyotes will just be like, oh, we're just going to hang out until we see something that we can take advantage of.
At least you know that crazy. Well, somebody here talking about that. A guy says, I went turkey hunting. Notoriously supposed to be hard to get attacked by a turkey. I used my rifle. I killed it. Found that we couldn't eat it. The turkey itself was sick. That's why it attacked me.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys see the video of that falcon that comes down into a chicken coop?
No.
So there is
I shouldn't be that excited.
It was badass, man.
It's like Animal Hate
This
Day.
falcon just comes in.
It's not, man. But look, I don't care who you are. If you have the chance to see, even if it like breaks your heart, right? But when there's a video of a predator taking out whatever it is that's going after, you watch.
So this thing just like huge wingspan just comes down into this chicken coop, all over this big ass white chicken. And the chicken's going and help me, Lord Jesus, and the falcon's going and then all of a sudden this rooster just comes strutting down the ramp out of the chicken house, just like boom, 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 and just beats the living hell out of this falcon.
Really?
Just tears it the hell up.
How badass are roosters? Because you always hear, I know they're bold. I know they are brave. I've known brave people. It doesn't always end well. But it seems like roosters tend to come out on top.
I mean, this
And that's like their whole job.
Well, yeah, I know, but look, man, you could be a bouncer, right? So I'm a rooster, I'm a bouncer. I'm the bouncer of the chicken coop. Sometimes,
Right here,
even the
watch it,
bouncer
watch it.
says,
Okay.
call the cops.
Here's the falcon, right? Here's the chicken.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right. Yeah,
Okay. Oh,
he's
crazy.
taking that
I'm
chicken.
gonna- Hey, look at him. He takes care of it. Look at him. Out.
I'll say it.
He kicked his ass. Rhode Island Red.
You got to remember, what's one of our rules about, like, once you're an adult, you're only going to get in a fight over a couple things, right?
It was a hawk, not a falcon.
Yeah, right? It's going to be over money, somebody messing with your partner, your girl. Right? So, for that rooster.
Yeah, that's
you would come into my house and attack my woman?
Yeah, eat her? You're going to eat my woman in front of me?
Come on, man.
I don't know why I'm so fired up.
You're fired up.
I am. I hate these animals.
Ted don't like bitches.
Who or what attack 201-206-421-ROCK.
I just remember that one night, those scrawny little coyotes.
What is your coyote story exactly? What is it? Where does this hate come from?
I thought you were big on the coyote. Like, you were the coyote, Ted.
I was for a while, but now it only sits a part of my totem. Then I was hanging out with a buddy. He was, you can, like, try out a dog.
Yeah, like
see
foster
if
it, whatever.
If you want to adopt it or whatever. So we had the garage open, and before we knew it, that little SOB just took off into the woods. And then we couldn't find him. So all night, I'm down on the lower part of the property in a tent, and I could hear the coyotes.
Wait, so this is a rental dog, so to speak.
Right. And I'm like, I bet they're eating them. Those bastards. Now, luckily, the next day, a neighbor, down the street showed up, was like, hey, is this your small dog? But I always remembered, they were out there all night calling him in so they could eat him.
But they didn't.
They didn't succeed this time.
Okay.
Hey, look, they're eating kids on Manhattan Beach.
No, they're trying to eat kids.
Like, is that not enough reason to hate an animal?
Well, I mean, I get it. I don't want them to eat my kid.
What if a shark,
but I would understand.
What if a shark bit the kid in the water?
Right.
Well, hey, you're in the water.
All right.
They're on land.
That's where they live.
If the coyote swam out there and attacked your kid 100 yards offshore, I'd be like, that coyote's an ass.
If you had to live in the wild and you had to live anywhere, wouldn't you live in Huntington Beach?
Yeah, even as a coyote,
You can't be shocked by the homeless population there.
Right.
If you get down there, you're like, this is pretty good thinking.
Well, listen, I will say, Miles, you've been down there. That's the other issue with Orange County. Is we're especially when you've never been down there, you just see the beautiful beaches, everybody in Cali.
90210.
Right, but you kind of forget, they just built these beach towns, right next to the mountains. Of course there's a ton of animals.
I know they got cougars is the other thing they deal with, right?
Rams.
Bears.
See, rams to me, that's the sort. If you say you got bears, I'm like, right, there's a lot of places that have bears. Cougars, sure, even coyotes. But I'm like, rams.
Everywhere.
I got to deal with rams?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a weird one. I'm sorry.
Who or what attack 201-206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Johan. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola. Hey, guys.
Hola.
Hey, so
wait. Real quick. Consensus. Do you like coyotes or do you not like coyotes?
Just the one.
Wiley.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm there with you through.
Right on. So what attacked you?
Real quick, long-time listener, first-time caller. Great to be here amongst the great fools of history. It's an honor.
Oh, thank you, man.
Hey, brother.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So ages ago, I was a kid, me and my cousin walking through a thick part of this forest, big forest. So a little ways ahead of me, I take a foot down, and there's this crunch. And there's this moment where I look down, and I look at her, she looks at me, all hell breaks loose. It was a wasp nest.
Mm-hmm.
On the ground. Did it fall out of a tree and you stepped on it?
It must have, or they just settled up down there. I don't know what's well enough. But
see, that's a setup, man. If you're a stinging insect, and I know there's no way to communicate things to animals. So look, if you're an insect that stings, by and large, human beings want nothing to do with you. We're not trying to trouble
any animal,
right? But don't put your thing in the ground. You know what I mean? Because that's a goddamn setup. If I build my house in the middle of I-5 and then sue everyone that drives into my house, you go man, he's setting us up.
It's like storing your tennis balls on your steps and expecting that nothing bad could possibly happen.
Right. So how many times did you get stung?
It's long enough to not know the exact details, but I'm pretty sure it was somewhere around 24.
Did you have to go to the hospital?
No, I wasn't allergic or anything, thankfully. They just hurt. I just spent the rest of the day inside my underwear.
Now, did you know whether or not you were allergic?
I don't sting or not. So I found out pretty quick.
But that's the thing. Because when doctors say, hey, man, are you allergic to give me a shot? And I was like, are you allergic to so-and-so? I'm like, I don't know. Just give me the shot. We'll see what happens, right?
Yeah. I'll find out.
I mean, same thing would be are you allergic? I don't know. I just got stung. Let's find out.
Well, we were on a mountainside, so I don't think I would have made it through if I were allergic. Long way away from any kind of medical help.
Who got stung more, you or the girl?
I don't recall if she got stung. I'm assuming a little bit, but I was the one who was targeted.
Well,
She might have got a little by proxy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the problem with wasps. They're in a bad mood anyway. You know, I feel like wasps more than any other stinging insect. Like they're looking for a reason to sting you, and sometimes it's just a matter of, I see you.
Yeah.
I flew 100 yards just to come over here and sting your ass.
But also, if you're out in the wilderness with someone that you like, you know what I mean? There's a good chance that you're going to have a very positive day.
If they agreed to go into the wilderness,
Yeah.
the trust is established.
If you
right?
may have done a hike together or something like that, you know, it's a special day. It's supposed to end well. Things should go your way later on. You did something nice. You got out. You got some fresh air. You got some exercise. Next thing you know, you're in your underwear at home and can't move.
Put calamine lotion all over your ass.
Who or what attacked who or what? 206-421-ROCK.
Somebody here says ground nests are very common in the place that I go off-roading. Off-roading, they suck. Stepped on them a lot as a kid, and apparently there are wasps that specifically make their nest in the ground. Great, I understand, man. Again, I just wish there's a way you could make an agreement with them, like, hey, don't do it close to the sidewalk, or do it off the beaten path. Because if I step on your house, I understand you're upset, but I don't want to deal with you, man.
Right.
Sorry. And same thing with bears. Since we're talking to animals, Mama, I know you're protective of your cubs. That's great, man. Most animals in the animal kingdom super protective of their children, right? Including people. Can you keep a better eye on them? We don't want, you know what I mean? Like, we don't want to stumble upon your kids because we know your reaction. You always assume the worst. None of us have any ill intention toward your little cubs. But it's, you get mad, keep an eye on them. Don't let them wander onto the trail. That's the problem.
Other than bats, why do you think things that fly don't like night? You know, an owl come out at night and do a little hunting for the most part.
But it's designed specifically for
Yeah,
the
it's
night, right?
nocturnal.
But birds go to sleep. They're like on human being schedules.
Yeah, we go to sleep.
You wake
Yeah.
up at 2 o'clock in the morning, you go outside, there's no birds flying around. There's no insects flying around. There's no wasps. There's no bees. Not even a housefly. Nothing flies at night. And I'm wondering, you know, if you're going to take care of a nest, wouldn't you just go and do it at night, pour the gasoline down the hole then? Because they ain't moving. They go to bed.
You mean if I am
exactly
going
what
to
you're
do
supposed
it?
to do.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
But people keep doing it during the day.
they have an adult bedtime. They go to bed and they wake up in the morning like
Right.
they got a 9 to 5.
Right, but if you read the directions, like they all say, like wait till at night till they all come home and then you attack the nest.
Right. People don't read the directions. They just spray. And I'm like,
They do
bro,
say that on there.
it's high noon, man. You know what I mean? It's like, there's a reason you want to break into someone's house when you think they're on vacation versus when they're having a family reunion, right? Because you can get your ass beat if they're having a family reunion. Now, my question is...
But if I'm a bird, I'm going to start flying at night.
So birds don't, but insects definitely are at night.
Well, some, but...
I'm just saying, like, we all grew up with those blue lights, and you hear things getting zapped all night.
Zip, zip, zip. Plus, you have a lot of...
But you're luring them in with a light.
Like a coyote, Ted.
They're gonna sit
your
there-
bug light.
All you're doing is killing moths for the most part. They're just coming over.
And mosquitoes.
Now, here's my question.
I've
So,
definitely been attacked at night by a mosquito.
the big animals that hunt at night, right? So all these nocturnal hunters, not talking about lions, and I know lions hunt a lot, but at night, what are they hunting? It just seems to me, I'm a wild animal in the Serengeti, and during the day, everyone's kind of chill, right?
Yeah.
Giraffes are eating their leaves, zebras are eating the grass, the hippos, just keep your distance, but everyone's hanging out by the water. Then at night, you tell me, hey, this is when all the apex predators come out. To me, that's the time I want to be in my nest somewhere sleeping. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are
I mean,
the
if you're
other
not,
animals?
even if you're
that-
not nocturnal, though, I mean, think about humans, right?
All right.
Think about all the street fights or bar fights you've seen in your life. I'm willing to bet 80 to 90% of them it was already dark.
It's already dark, but the one difference is, and I don't know this for a fact, I don't feel like lions are getting drunk. And they're
That's a
getting-
good point.
You know
That's a
what I'm saying?
solid
Like,
point.
You're right. Most of these fights happen at night, but there's usually something that led up, and alcohol,
correct.
generally speaking, is involved somewhere. But I just feel like, look, if I'm going to be lower on the food chain than the apex predator, like, I don't want to be the thing that hunts at night. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, because they're out there actively hunting and chasing things down. Like, why are you up at night? You know they come out at night. You know what I mean? If you had a sundown curfew and they said, look, if you leave your home once it's dark outside, there's a chance, not a guarantee, there's a chance that armed people just routinely are going to shoot you dead. I think most people just stay in, right? Yeah, it's not worth it. So if you're telling me lions hunt at night, it just seems like nature would say, you don't want to go out at night. Like, it's ugly, man. It's
Basically,
bad.
what it says is birds just have a bedtime. Other than owls, they just go to bed.
All right.
Yeah.
They don't fly at night. I don't understand. It's nice and calm. Nobody's out. Just seems like the right time.
But the things that are out are bad. Right. So you say most birds go to sleep, not the owl. What do we know about the owl?
Well,
I think it's such a fierce...
It's not
right.
It's nocturnal.
So mice decide, hey, you know what, man? There's me and there's an owl. And that's about it. And a couple of moths getting zapped on the bug light over there. Let's go looking for things to eat at night. When the one other thing that's out here likes to eat us. I'm just saying. Seems like a bad choice to me.
I mean, maybe Houdini put it best.
What's that?
Freaks come out at night.
Yes, you're right. The freaks come out at night.
Who are one attack? 201-206-421-ROCK.
Hello, David. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola!
Hola!
I will say this. I saw that Huntington Beach video a couple days ago, and I now truly believe that woman's baby was stolen by a dingo.
I think that chick was telling the truth. All those years ago, I never doubted her. Everyone's like making fun. I'm like, it's kind of a severe thing, man.
Right.
Goddamn dingo.
Because it's the mother on the Huntington Beach, she was just oblivious.
Well, the attack lasted 14 seconds before she turned around.
Right, they're just watching the waves crash. And the girl was, maybe 6 to 10 feet away from her parents?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But then again, also the person who's recording it. You never saw the camera vibrating like the running toward, you know what I mean? Like they were completely stationary recording this kid getting attacked. You don't even hear the person who's recording yelling to the parents.
Right, and it's quick, and like for those parents, like they're looking at the ocean. Like when you're on the beach, for most people, that's the most dangerous thing.
Right, these waves.
Was there actually physically a person behind that camera, or was it just kind of stationed there?
I don't know.
I think it was a beach cam. Yeah. It was, in fact,
a beach cam. The temptation to yell World Star Hip Hop, like World Star.
How do they never have that on Baywatch?
I will tell you this, though, guys. I live up in Fremont by the Woodland Park Zoo, and there are 2 very large, very healthy coyotes that have been there since the lockdowns began. I see them.
Oh, I see them all. Look, they come out. There's one that comes down to 36th. So there's one that hangs up by the Lighthouse Coffee. That's the same one that comes down, basically.
Which is weird because the coffee is way overbrewed.
Do you think any of those coyotes, knowing that the zoo is right there, any of the smaller, prairie dogs or any of that crap they have there, are they trying to hop the fence and get some free meals?
You don't have to because of the rabbit.
Ah, okay.
There are so many family rabbits. Like I grew up with wild rabbits. There's so many bunnies.
Right. Bunnies and chickens,
I will
man.
tell you, I see them so often. I named them Mr. and Mrs. Carl Yote.
You okay? Let them know.
Yeah. But the reason I called actually is a story that happened in Queen Anne. A friend of a friend, she was going home at night with her little dog, and if you know homes in Queen Anne, they're all on a hill, so you have to walk up 20 steps to get to your front door. And as she got to her front door, a raccoon, full-sized, jumped on her head and attacked her. It bit her 17 times.
Damn.
Yup.
Was the animal rabbit?
I assume so, but you never know if it's just protecting babies or it's got the taste for human flesh. I don't know.
Well, typically raccoons do hang as a family, and they do have babies with them. But the ones in our neighborhood, man, they need to go on a diet. I mean,
they're so fat.
They're just huge.
They're waddling. So the idea of that thing being able to jump is seems to me like it's rabbit or something.
It came down from above her.
Oh, okay. All right.
And landed on her. 40 pounds of badger on your head? She rolled down the hill, down to the sidewalk. It bit into the bone of her finger. It was in the hospital for 3 days. And then for weeks of rabies shots. But they didn't go. I grew up in New England, so when something like that happened, you just found the thing and you killed it.
That's if you live on the cut, man, you're exactly right.
I'd get a trap. I think it'd be dead within a week.
I got
probably use peanut butter.
I got raccoons now that kind of live, I don't know, on the other side of the driveway where there's all this brush and blackberry bush. They don't mess with anyone. They're fat. They're slow. But when we lived out in the woods, man, we had these raccoons that would keep tearing into our trash cans. We kept behind the house. And my father would lose his freaking mind. So the first thing he did was tie the trash can lids down. And that worked up until we had to take out the trash because we discovered the guys that picked up the trash, back when you physically picked it up, they couldn't figure out his knot to untie it. So he comes up with all these different things. But one night we hear the trash cans go over, and my father is up and off the sofa, sprints downstairs because he's going to take care of this ass. So I'm goddamn had it with these raccoons. And then it's like deadly silent for like 2 minutes. And we're like, what the hell's going on? So we walk out there, and my father, out of the corner of his mouth, says to me and my brother, as we're opening the sliding door, do not make any noise. And we realized it wasn't a raccoon, it was a skunk. And now he's pissed the skunk off, so this thing's hissing at him, its tail's kind of wiggling back and forth. He managed to get back into the house before the skunk sprayed him, but the skunk sprayed the house, and then we spent the next week at a motel until the stink went away. It is unbelievable, man.
Who or what attacked you or what? 206-421-ROCK.